Hi, so today I have two videos for you. One is going to be for feet and one for core. And the feet are actually connected with your core. So I'll talk about that as we get going. Okay, so this is for the feet. So if you have a ball, grab it. If you don't have a ball, I'll give you an alternative. It can be any kind of ball. If it's just a tennis ball, anything will really work. All right, I'm just going to set that down for now. And first, we're going to start on the floor. And you're just going to tuck your toes. Let's move Etta over. Tuck your toes under and sit back on your heels. Now, that might not be possible, okay? So you might need to try it this way. Just tuck those toes under and kind of put a little weight back onto them, okay? If that's easy for you, that's when you'd sit up like this. It might also be your knees that limit you. So you've got to just find a way that it works for you. In a chair, you could be sitting down and just get your toes in this position, right? So you'd be sitting and just bring them up and down like that. Okay, so keep going, kind of putting weight back and then forward. You might stay there a little longer. Now, if your knees and your feet are okay so far, you might even experiment with lifting knees off the floor, maybe even setting heels down. Okay, this is a lot, I know. You can always put a rolled up blanket behind the heels to land in. So a lot of people have collapsed arches, or they say they have flat feet. And most of the time that can be due to just the biomechanics of how people have moved throughout their life, and or wearing a lot of super supportive shoes, which can be necessary over time, right? But they also weaken your arch because they are creating your arch for you in those shoes. And so you no longer need those muscles. So our body kind of just weakens those muscles. Okay, so see what I'm doing now? I'm flattening my feet and I'm doing the same thing. So I might have a problem with my knees and not be able to do that. If this is the case, or if you're seated in a chair, you can take your foot back like this. So I'm just folding it back. You can even put it on a folded blanket. All right, so continue with that. You can also switch back and forth between the tops of the feet down and the toes tucked under. So anybody can experiment with this, whatever your mobility range is. You can be in a chair, you can be standing, you can be on the floor like I'm showing. All right. Now I'll breathe. Remember to breathe, okay? I didn't get you set in there. So coming back to your breath, not holding your breath. This feels so good because I made this mistake of wearing these like old clogs that had a little heel on them as I moved a bunch of furniture all day long, and my feet are wrecked. So just usually I'm so careful. I'm really good about my footwear. I wear like shoes that have very low support because I've strengthened my feet, so I can do that. Not everybody can do that just yet. And I try not to wear heels except for special occasions. And so my feet are doing okay. Okay. From here, we're going to come up to standing. Again, you can do this seated in a chair. We're going to use the ball. So if you come all the way up to standing, you might still want a chair or a wall so that your balance isn't compromised. Okay, and I'm just rolling my foot on the ball. And this is an awesome exercise to do every day, you guys. It just helps to kind of massage all the myofascial tissue on the bottom of your foot. And you might be surprised at what you feel in there. Just going up and down, up and down. Say you don't have a ball, you couldn't find one. Just sit in the chair, take your foot up and rub it with your hands. Okay, like this. This is if you don't have a ball. Otherwise, back and forth, breathing. And for this one, we don't have to look at our foot or ankle. Okay, so let's try to stand tall. Sometimes I have you look at your feet to help build the brain connection to the muscles in your feet, but not for this one. Okay, this one you can just feel. If you find a particular tight spot, put a little pressure on it, start to lift and lower the toes, and keep your breath going. Good, let's do the other foot. Oh, before you do the other foot, darn it, I hope you didn't already do it, but it's okay if you did. Just notice the 2 feet without the ball. And notice the difference between the side that you rolled and the side that you haven't rolled yet. Good. Just take a breath in and take a breath out. All right, let's do the other one. Back and forth, back and forth. Oh, it feels so good, right? So you always want to try to treat your feet really well. So as I was mentioning, you know, I try to use very low arch support shoes because I've built up the strength of my own arch and I don't want to weaken them. However, you may need that arch support. You don't just jump right into no support shoes, okay? So it's really important that you don't do that because you can end up injuring your feet or your calves if you try to do that right away. It's like you want to build the strength of your foot slowly. You can't shock it after, you know, 40 years of wearing some really sturdy, supportive shoes. You can't just go to nothing, okay? So you really want to make sure that you train your feet and gradually wean them off high support shoes if you'd like to, okay? I do recommend it though, because it helps once you strengthen your arches. Let's step off the ball and I'll finish that sentence in a second. Feel your 2 feet on the floor. Stand tall. Breathe in and out. And right now, just notice the connection between the soles of your feet and the floor. Like, what does your weight feel like? Is it more on one foot than the other? Is it on the fronts of your feet, the backs of your feet, the inside, the outside? Okay, and you don't have to change anything. That's just a notice thing. So there is so much we can do with our feet, but I'm going to keep this a little bit limited today to connecting with your core, okay? So the arches of our feet, from the arches runs this line, okay, of myofascial tissue. It's like an imaginary line, but it's connected through the tissue from the arches of the feet up into the deeper calves, up into the inner thighs, up into the pelvic floor muscles, okay? And that connects all the way, all that myofascial tissue connects into the diaphragm, into some of the rib cage muscles, all the way up into the deep neck muscles, and even into the tongue. So all of this is called, according to one of the myofascial people, anatomy, who wrote Anatomy Trains, which is all about working with myofascial tissue. That's called the deep front line. Okay, and I might have got it a little off, but that's about where it goes. So the arches of your feet, if they're fallen or weak, then that can affect the strength along the rest of this line. Oh, the jaw is part of it too. Yeah, I think it even temporalis muscle. I'll have to look that up and get back to you guys. All right, so how do we strengthen the arches? The stuff we just did is great, is a great start. Oh, the dog has my ball, that's okay. Okay, so that's a good start to just get your feet more mobile. There's 25% of our musculoskeletal system is in these feet. Another step you can do here is we're just gonna lift the toes. And notice when I lift my toes, do you see how the arches lift a little higher, right? You can look at your feet now, okay? So you can be seated in a chair or standing. Look at how they lift. This is using the extrinsic muscles of the legs or of the foot to lift the arch. Okay, now we're gonna let those go. Another way we're gonna try to lift the arch is using the intrinsic muscles of the foot. That means these muscles start in the feet and end in the feet. And so I'm going to try to draw the ball of my foot toward the heel of my foot. It's almost like, boop, it's gonna lift like that, okay? So watch. I'm gonna hold it and relax. Hold it and relax. You can look at it, okay? That's okay because it helps your brain get that connection. Now, I'm not doing this, see that with my toes? I'm scooting the ball of the foot toward the heel. At first, you will do this because you won't be able to find the muscles, but over time, okay, over time. Now let's try the other foot. I'm just opening my foot like duck foot so you can get a view, but you just keep them straight. You can look at it to help them get there. And you'll notice when you do that, it's impossible to have those fallen arches. And you see how my knees knock in when I've got the fallen arches? Boom. Pelvic floor probably isn't as strong right now, right? When I engage from the floor up, I'm going to be able to engage this whole chain, perhaps a bit better. There can be other blockages, of course. Okay. See if you can hold both at the same time. Good. Now we're just going to rock on our feet. Good. So I have other videos, I think even on here, that where we work with individual toes, which is great too. So we build the strength of each toe. You can use bands for that. There's all sorts of things we can do with the feet. But can you give your feet a little bit of attention each day? You'll see a big difference. Do you notice that I don't have shoes on? I know you never see me in shoes, right? But that's for a reason. So to build the strength of my feet, I need to be barefoot or in socks, right? I need to have that connection with the ground, get all those little muscles and ligaments giving feedback to my brain. Good. Good. Okay. After the next one, just pause, come down. Let's inhale, take the arms up. Good. Exhale, bring the arms back down. Nice. Now we'll roll out the ankles, one of my favorite. So in this one, I'm not just doing ankle rolls. What I'm doing is I'm tracing around the perimeter of my foot, around and around, and I'm letting my knee and hip move. So I'm not trying to isolate anything. I'm going to reverse that. Good. And then the other side. And I'm looking, right? So looking at your foot again will help you see like, oh, what parts of the perimeter am I not connecting to? Good. You can even try both at the same time and go the opposite way. So sometimes we isolate muscles and sometimes we let everything move together. When we're moving through life, we're moving connected, right? So it's important to do both. Isolating them helps us feel them, find them. Moving together helps us build a sense of more agility and connectedness. Let's just stand for a moment. Follow your breath in and follow your breath out. All right, so check out the other exercise, which is going to focus on the more traditional core area. And let me know if you have any questions.